Today in Grow a Garden in Roblox, the time has come to do one of my favorite videos of the week. This is the first pet value tier list after new pets hit the game. And as such, things are always wacky. However, we're a day late. So I wonder what the prices are going to be here today, 48 hours after the release of the pets instead of 24 hours like we usually do. If this sounds interesting to you, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button, become part of the first 300k OGs on the channel, and let's get into the video. So the list looks different. You're going to notice a ton of pets no longer on it. Guys, I need to be absolutely real with you. Pretty much every single pet not on this list in the game is so low in value, they're just not worth talking about. So if you want something that is not on this list, it's a bulk pet. You can trade any other thing not on this list for a thing that is not on this list, and it's a fair trade. So don't sweat it. If you want to trade down, you can get multiple bulk pets for many things. But for the most part, anything not on this list is just so inconsequential in value. And yes, there are some shocking ones. It is what it is. It's supply versus demand. And for many of those pets, there's just a ton of supply and there's not a lot of demand. Now, some things on this list have a lot of value, but the demand is so low and they're not actually transacted. So I will point those out to you. So make sure you pay attention to this video because there are things on this list that will seemingly have a lot of value, but they're not moving. No one's acquiring them. So I'm not sure why they're still there. I'll warn you when we get to those. Yeah, this is definitely a great video for Watch Squad members because there's a lot of things to actually talk about in this video. Now, the Dragonfly, I'm not even going to put on the list. It's going to stay off the list. And if you actually watch the whole video, you're going to know why. The Dragonfly used to be valuable. It used to be something that we compared to everything else. But it has become so common that it no longer has any value. It no longer deserves a spot on this list. And many of you are going to blame admin abuse. You're going to blame the fact that they restocked the shop with a bunch of bug eggs. That's one factor. Another factor is seals and koi, especially the seals. And that's another factor. But something has happened recently. Scripters have been able to abuse certain bugs and scripts in the game. Let me show you. Take a look at this image. This is from Reddit. From a 12-hour AFK using raccoons. This is not even a script right here first. This is not a script. This is a guy using raccoons to farm up 301 bug eggs, as well as a bunch of jungle eggs and mythic eggs and other things. Just a regular non-hacker using raccoons on a tier 3 plant from the new event and turning them in after 12 hours of AFK. Think about that. That's a regular guy. I can do that. I have 6 raccoons and 2 15-second peacocks. I can beat that. I can farm up more than 300 bug eggs in 12 hours. Now let's get to the scripters. I saw this image on Reddit. 27,137 bug eggs. 27,585 jungle eggs. I thought this was fake. I thought this was photoshopped. But this isn't the only image that looks like this. What about this one right here? 52,519 bug eggs, 52,750 jungle eggs, 105,000 mythical eggs. That's a lot of eggs, guys. Or this image right here. Received, oh man, this is madness. Where am I looking? Right here. Received 1 times bug egg multiplied by 60,021. Received jungle egg 59,839. There is a very good chance that people who sell pets online are doing things like this and using 15-second peacocks and bald eagles, are hatching eggs really, really fast and are about to flood the market with an insane amount of jungle pets and bug pets. And they're going to start undercutting each other and bringing the values down. So anything we talk about in this video, if it comes from a bug egg or if it comes from a jungle egg or a mythical egg, assume that if it has any value, it's going to plummet as they undercut each other. So that is why the Dragonfly has no more value going forward. It's a great collector's piece, but if you want to acquire a Dragonfly, just know, don't trade anything of value to acquire it. Any old bulk pet will be able to get a Dragonfly moving forward. It's unfortunate. I love the Dragonfly. It's a great pet. It's an icon. Now, I was so excited to add this new pet to the list because according to my research, this pet finally has some actual value because people have realized the value of this pet. Until I realized the squirrel is located in the mythical egg. And as you saw, people were acquiring a boatload of mythical eggs. So right now, This very second, it is in the D tier, the squirrel. I was so excited to add it to the list, but be warned about what I just showed you. This thing's about to become overpopulated like crazy. If you're going to trade to acquire them, I mean, D-tier pets aren't that hard to acquire regardless, but you might want to consider holding off, especially if you haven't done so yet, because it's probably going to go into the toilet. Another new addition to the list is awesome. I love it. I love seeing new things on the list. It makes me excited. It is the Kappa, and I'm trying to find it. There it is. The Kappa is an E-tier pet. It has a lot of value. Being able to add a bunch of wet mutation to a whole bunch of coconut trees, for example, here in this current event, allowing you to go through the battle pass faster, is very valuable. So people are acquiring the Kappas right now. Echo Frogs. I've never had them on the list. I've forgotten about them. They are a bottom of D tier pet. They do have some decent value. They are useful. They do trade well. Echo Frogs rock. It's a great, great pet. One of the best growing plants and fruits pets in the game. Which begs the question, how is the Triceratops doing? Moving on, another new addition, it was off for a bit, now it's back on, is the French fry ferret. He's jumped up in value as well. He's at the very top of E tier. It's shocking how much value he has. I wonder what's going on. Can we hatch those eggs? Can we seal koi those eggs anymore? I can't remember. Oh yeah, the French fry ferret is in the gourmet egg. So it's probably not going to go much higher than this, because if it does go higher, they'll just seal farm it. Moving on to the Spinosaurus. Spinosaurus is maintaining value. It is roughly the same. It is at the top of C tier. It is roughly equivalent to, what do I compare to now? What's my comparison tool? It's no longer the dragonfly. The dragonfly is in the gutter. It is useless. You know what? I'm going to start using the butterfly. I think I used the butterfly last video. I'll mention it right now. The butterfly and the Spinosaurus are dead equal in value. They're super, super close in value. The squirrel and the echo frog are basically 2.5 to 1 to get to a butterfly. So 2 and change. The French fry ferret and the Kappa are like 3 to 1 to a butterfly for context. So that's kind of how the tiers are separated. E tier is like 3 to 1 to a butterfly. D tier is like 2-ish to 1 to a butterfly. Pachycephalosaurus, I've mentioned this before and I'll say it again. Its value has not dropped in that the people selling them online have not undercut each other in value. However, there's no demand for the Pachycephalosaurus as of right now. This event doesn't have a crafting equivalent, a crafting portion to it, so it's not really useful yet. A part 2 to this event might introduce a crafting portion, so it might become useful again. As of right now, it's maintained its value. It is a D tier pet. It's useful. It has a great effect. When you want to use this effect, you have to acquire multiples of them. There's not as many out there because they've been seal farmed into the dirt to try and get more Spinosauruses. So there's a low supply. Right now, low demand. That might change moving forward. Keep an eye on it. The Disco Bee has taken quite the hit, but so has the raccoon. Actually, everything at the top of the list has taken quite the chunking hit. Like big drops, like 10, 15% drops. The whole top of the list. I think that's because there's less players in the game, so just less overall demand for the thing, so everyone's starting to undercut each other. So the Disco Bee is down, and you know what? It's a B tier pet now. It's a B tier pet now. The Disco Bee is 2 butterflies and an ad being anything in the E tier. Wow. Man, things change. The Queen Bee is an E tier pet. It is here below the Kappa. It's still relatively rare because bug eggs aren't plentiful, or not bug eggs, the bee eggs. They're not super plentiful, but it's at a risk of dropping off the E tier and dropping off his list entirely. Bald Eagle is a top of E tier pet, best egg hatching in the game, doesn't have the ability to be hatched any further. You can't seal farm it. It was a store pet. It's locked in its supply, and it's the best egg hatcher in the game, so it's just fantastic. Brontosaurus is also really, really close to that. Great pet. You want 4 of them. You want rainbows of them to have heavier hatches. That's super important. It's been seal farmed down as people have tried to acquire the T-Rex, but now because the T-Rex is no longer super rare or super expensive, they're no longer seal farming the Bronto to get T-Rexes, because it's just T-Rex, right? Who cares? Which is horrible to say. The lobster. The lobster is a bottom of E tier pet. It's not really in a risk of falling off, but it could anytime. It's not bad. It's okay. T-Rex has dropped a little bit in value. It is a top of D tier pet now. In terms of difference, the T-Rex is pretty much 2 to 1 to a butterfly. 2 to 1 and a little bit. 2 to 1 to a butterfly. Man, that butterfly's fallen so far too. Everything's fallen, but if everything falls together, they maintain relative value to each other, but sometimes it depends. The Raiju is a D tier pet, bottom of D tier pet. There's no demand on this thing. That's why it hasn't moved. No one's undercut each other. No one's acquiring it. There's no demand on this thing. Ascended pets are B tier pets. Ascended pets, woo, it's Wow, it's less than 2-to-1 to a Disco Bee. That's funny. How do I describe this? 2 butterflies to an ascended pet is an overpay. 2 ascended pets to a Disco Bee is definitely an overpay. You can do an ascended pet plus a mimic to get to a Disco Bee is kind of where the relationship is right now. Moving on to the Fennec Fox. The Fennec Fox is still basically worth an ascended pet. They're both down here in this range. It is 2 butterflies to a Fennec Fox. Pretty much equal. Pretty fair there. Blood Owls are E tier pets. They're right there in terms of value with the Bald Eagle. Perfectly equal. Now the Huges are here with the Butterfly. Where is it in relation to the Butterfly? The Huge is worth less than a Butterfly and less than a Spino, but not by much. Not by much. Now, this is like the cheapest Huge in the game. This is like a huge Jackalope or a huge dog. The cheapest Huges in the game are worth that. Above that, you can figure that out on your own. Mimics are at the top of D tier. Tippy top. They're the best D tier pet in the game. There's still a significant difference from the Mimic up to the C tier. That's where the gap goes. It goes Mimic and then Gap and then C tier stuff. It is almost a perfect 2 Mimic to 1 Butterfly. Like I said, almost everything in the D tier is really close 2-to-1 to the Butterfly. It's really close. Blood Hedgehog and Blood Kiwi are both at the bottom of E tier, threatening to fall off this list. There's just no prickly plants right now of use for the Blood Hedgehog, and the Blood Kiwi is just an inferior Bald Eagle. The Raccoon has fallen. It's taken a slap. It's alone in the A tier. And I've done this because the Raccoon is more than 2 Fennec Foxes. More than 2 Fennec Foxes, okay? It's super close to 2 Disco. Why is a Disco Bee there? It's so close to 2 Disco Bee to 1 Raccoon. Like the difference, the Raccoon requires an E tier pet to equal 2 Disco Bees. So the Disco Bee needs to fall a bit further to become equally perfect 2 Disco Bees to a Raccoon. That relationship is almost cemented in stone. We're almost there. The Kitsune has taken a 14% drop. It's significant. 2-to-1 Raccoon to a Kitsune is an overpay. Oh, wow. Math is hard, my brain. 2-to-1 Raccoon to Kitsune is a complete overpay. It's an overpay, the equivalent of like a small, huge pet or 2 Mimic Octopuses. Wow. So you would need to do Kitsune and 2 Mimics to get to 2 Raccoons. Equal trade. Wow. Kitsune took an even bigger drop than the Raccoon did. Now, the next 3 pets. I hate putting them in these spots because there's no movement on these pets online. So if you experience trades in the game, that's a different story. But online, there's no real transactions going on with these pets. But the prices haven't plummeted, so I don't know what else to tell you. I'm warning you verbally about these next 3 pets. The Drake is still here. Again, not a whole lot of transactions. If not any transactions, there's no demand for this pet right now. Unless there's a cooking update, I don't see any demand for this pet coming up. So trade it carefully, acquire it carefully. I wouldn't acquire this pet at all, actually. The Luminous Sprite is here at the top of E tier. I don't see any transactions online for it as well. Trade for it carefully. And the Wisp is here with the Ascended pet. Again, I don't see any transaction history for it online as well. Acquire it carefully. There's some transaction history for this stupid salmon at this level, and I don't understand. Because, like, I guess people are really want it just to level up their stuff. It's right here in the D tier, and it's like the only pet from that entire section that still has like any kind of value. The Barn Owl has no value. The Barn Owl has 0 value. It's insane. But the salmon, no matter where I look, I can't find cheaper salmons in this. I can't. They don't exist, and it's still transacting at this level, which is shocking to me. Now, we're going to move on to the Jungle Egg pets, the brand new Jungle Egg pets. The 3 most common Jungle Egg pets, I'm not even bothering putting on this list. I don't care what I find them for online because I showed you those images. If you missed it, rewind the video towards the very beginning. I showed you images of scripters. I showed you images of scripters harvesting tens of thousands of jungle eggs. I even showed you images of just regular people with raccoons pulling in hundreds and hundreds of jungle eggs. So anything in the jungle egg is just going down. As such, I'll tell you the values now, but be warned, they're plummeting, okay? The chimpanzee is in that Mimic Octopus T-Rex range now. Don't trust it. And the tiger is up here approaching the butterfly range. Not quite at the butterfly range, but approaching the butterfly range again. Don't trust it. It's going to plummet tremendously. There's nothing in the jungle egg that's going to hold any value ever. Now, these pets. We're going to talk about these pets. These pets are found in the battle pass. As such, you can't steal koi farm them, okay? And you can't bug them out. What you can do is do the most efficient methods of doing the battle pass. But what I'm going to talk about these pets, I'm going to be listing, I'll be displaying them and putting them on this list for their base versions. These are the free versions from the free part of the battle pass, the garden pass, okay? There's also paid versions. I want to tell you right now, do not trust any online websites using real world value for any of the paid versions of these pets, the rainbow hatched or the giant hatched, especially if they list them for more than you can buy in the game for Robux. I will emphasize that one more time. If you see a Mizuchi, if you see a rainbow hatched Mizuchi, which is the paid for version of the Mizuchi, available online at a value that exceeds what you could buy it for Robux, don't be dumb and do that. When I get to the Mizuchi, you'll understand. Talking about the Blue Jay. The Blue Jay's at the very bottom of C tier. This is for the regular Blue Jay. If you want to try and acquire a rainbow hatched Blue Jay, I believe it's rainbow hatched at this tier, go ahead. I can't find any records online for a rainbow hatched Blue Jay. As such, understand that when you pay for this, you know what? Let me show you. Here we are looking at the battle pass. If you want to unlock the battle pass, it's 749 Robux, okay? Now, I am personally sitting at rank almost 15, okay? Almost 15. I barely harvested it. Let me show you how much money I have to spend. You know what? I'll finish off 15. Let me show you how much Robux I have to spend to finish off all the tiers like that from 15 all the way to the end. There, I'm at 15. Let me go show you. If I wanted to do all of them, it would cost me 1,470 Robux for a grand total of 2,219 Robux. To acquire for 2,219 Robux, I will acquire one of the regular Blue Jays and the Rainbow Blue Jays, one of the regular Firefly and the Giant Firefly, etc., all the way to the regular Mizuchi and the Rainbow Mizuchi. And this is the price of Robux, 2,200 Robux for approximately $28 Canadian, which is approximately $20 US. So for that value, you are able to acquire one of each of the base version of the pets and one of each of the rainbow or giant versions of the pets. Do not value any of the individual rainbow or giant versions of the pets anything close to that valuation. They must be much less because you're getting all that stuff combined. Understand? Okay, now that I've got that out of the way, let's talk. Regular Blue Jay is bottom of C tier. Rainbow Blue Jay, I don't know how much more you'd want to pay for that if you're a collector. But in terms of function, I don't see it having much function, so I don't know why you'd want it. The Silver Dragonfly, base version of a Silver Dragonfly, is a C tier pet. It is almost roughly equal to the cheapest huges in the game. Why? Why is the Silver Dragonfly worth the most basic huges in the game, but the regular Dragonfly, which has a superior effect, is not even on the list anymore? Supply versus demand. The supply of the regular gold Dragonfly is so astronomically high that nobody wants it because everybody has it. But the Silver Dragonfly is only acquired from the Battle Pass, and therefore a person only ever gets one, and they're deep in the Battle Pass, and not everyone has unlocked the Battle Pass, so there's just fewer of them. It's stupid. I hate it, but it's the truth for now. The Firefly has a very unique effect. It is basically equal to a Spinosaurus, a giant Firefly. If you really want to spread the shock mutation, might be worth it. I would find that interesting. I've looked online for giant Fireflies, giant Silver Dragonflies. I can't really find a whole lot of transaction history on that, so good luck with those ones. And the Mizuchi, regular Mizuchi is equal to the Firefly right now, but I was able to find some transaction history on the Rainbow Hatched Mizuchi, and people were charging for the Rainbow Hatched Mizuchi nearly the same as acquiring all of them together with Robux or more, which is dumb. The least expensive Rainbow Hatch Mizuchi I could find, put it over the Kitsune, a single Kitsune. Over a single Kitsune. So if you really want that Rainbow Hatch Mizuchi, it is probably worth close to a Kitsune. It might be as rare as a Kitsune. But the problem is, anybody with a little bit of Robux can just acquire it. So more and more are going to come onto the market. So be very, very careful acquiring with your pets anything from the Battle Pass, because as each day goes on, more people will farm it regularly. More people will spend Robux to acquire them. So they're going to become more and more common. So be very careful acquiring anything on the Battle Pass. This is my tier list. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was useful to you. If it was, go ahead and hit subscribe. Become part of the first 300K OGs on the channel. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I need more coffee.